Without enough truck drivers, experts say the price of just about everything could be going up.
The blame lying mostly on the shortage of truck drivers.
This really having to do with not enough truck drivers.
Why are there too few truck drivers? Did a significant number of them retire?
Now there's actually a shortage that's pushing rates to reach record highs. General trucking, how almost everything gets to stores. We're talking.
So there's no such thing as a driver shortage. The media is just putting too much on it. It's not even like that. Everybody that worked for the port are still working for the port. They've been working for the port for years. No one's quit. If somebody's quit, all they've done is just gone to another carrier.
What's going on with the truckers? So is there a driver shortage? And the short answer is no, there is not a driver shortage. You know, so many people, media articles, they want to say that truck drivers don't want to work. Baby boomers are getting older, so they're retiring. You know, the sales in goods are going up exponentially. And so that's why the demand cannot keep up. But the truth be told is there is not a truck driver shortage. And we have a special guest here today, Vic Med. You guys can subscribe to him on YouTube. He has a fleet of trucks that goes into the LA ports every single day. You know, CBS News and all this is covering news saying that, hey, LA is saying it's a truck shortage and that's who to blame. But we're here today to debunk that. But I want to talk to the American people. You all, including myself, we need to stop buying so much items from China and foreign countries and start buying items here. We wouldn't even have this problem if we weren't just always buying stuff from overseas. Okay? We need to start supporting our country and buying goods here. The second problem to that, there are so many investors, especially in China, equity private firms that are investing in self-driving technology. You know, there's Aurora, Too Simple. I mean, the list goes on. I don't even want to give them shine. But when it comes down to it, they've invested millions to almost billions of dollars on this technology. And guess what? They want to paint the narrative that there's a driver shortage. Why? So that their technology could come in and save the day. I'm here to tell you that we're here today to debunk what is logistically really happening and why it seems like there's a shortage and why these container ships are stuck outside the port and not being unloaded. Here's Vic Med telling us why today. So we got Vic Med in the house. Subscribe to his show on YouTube. This man's the truth right here. I look at this guy like a mentor. When my truck broke down over the road, I would call him first. So, you know, I always got to show you love first, brother.
Appreciate it.
Big things in the news, you know, LA ports. They're doing truck drivers dirty. They made an article, they sent it out to CBS and all these big magazines saying that truck drivers are to blame. It's a truck driver shortage, and that's why things aren't coming out of the LA port. And before we get into this, can you give a little bit of your background of why you have so much experience with the ports?
We run the Long Beach ports. We run the LA ports. We've been doing it for the last, I don't know, maybe 7 years, 8 years. So there's no such thing as a driver shortage. The media is just putting too much on it. It's not even like that. Everybody that worked for the port are still working for the port. They've been working for the port for years. No one's quit. If somebody's quit, all they've done is just gone to another carrier. They've leased onto another carrier. But as far as quitting, no, there's no driver shortage at Long Beach or LA ports. What's going on with the ports right now is there's a shortage of chassis, and we cannot take back the empty containers back to the ports. It's taking us from two to 4 weeks to be able to take an empty back to the ports, because they're not accepting empties at the ports because they have so many loads coming out of the ports right now that we can't take the empties. There's empties all over Southern California that been parked for months because we can't take the empties back. They won't accept empties at the ports right now, and that is the reason why we're short on chassis, because they're sitting on empty containers.
Wow. Okay. So tell me this. Explain to me, Vic, like how it used to be before this whole cluster situation. Tell us the process of how it was before, people started saying that, the ports are overrun and it's, a shortage of truckers.
Well, before it would be like you pull out a load out of the port, that same day you can take back that empty into the port. They take the empty off that chassis, and then you'd go to another stack, another line where there's loads, and they would put a load on that chassis. But right now, like I said, they're not accepting empties. That's why there's a shortage of chassis, So, but, before it was that same day you can take back that empty and get it taken off. They would put it on an empty stack, and then they would stack that stack of empties onto a ship. And right now they're not doing that. They're not doing that at all.
There's
no shortage of drivers. There's no shortage of trucks in the ports. There's no shortage of union workers at the ports. That's a lie. It's a lie that the media is putting out there. None of that is a shortage. What is going on is the empties.
So, Vic, would you say that if they still had the old process of allowing you to go back there and drop off the empties to go back in line and get reloaded, that there wouldn't be this problem?
Exactly. That's the only issue that we're having right now. There's so many loads coming in right now. There's ships that are parked out there in the ocean. It's like a parking lot because they need to offload these ships, and they're not loading up these ships with empties. That is the issue.
Man. So what do you think is going on? Like, if you and I can have a quick conversation and be able to figure out what the problem is, I mean, why do you think they can't figure it out?
I think what's going on is what's going on in the South China Sea right now. So there's no ships being taken back over to that side of the world. Mm-hmm. So there's nobody able to unstack these empty containers on that side of the world and reload them because of all that's going on over there. So they're not letting these container ships go back over there. So I mean, why stack them up? Why load them up with empty trailers if they're not going to be used? I'm just assuming this, but that's what's going on. They're not loading up these ships with empty containers, and the ports don't have no room to stack up these containers in a stack of empties. They have no room. So we're being stuck with these containers, in our yards. I have a buddy that has something like 20 something trucks, and he's got a pretty big size yard. I think it's like a 3.5 acre yard, and it's stacked with empties and chassis because he can't take them back to the port. They won't accept them.
Man, that's crazy.
So usually what would happen, Al, is if you took out a container from a certain port and that port wasn't accepting empties at the time, you could take it to another port. They would accept that empty. You'd get that chassis and get it reloaded, like I said before. But right now, they're not doing any of that. None of that is happening. So, I mean, the guys are still there. Truckers are still there. There's no shortage. That's a lie. There's no shortage. It's just the empty situation. Now, if there's a container on a chassis, how are we going to use these chassis? We can't use these chassis. Now we have to come out of pocket and go rent a crane to take these containers and just stack them on the floor so these chassis can be available to us, the carriers. The ports ain't providing for this. We have to come out of pocket to make these chassis work, and that's the problem right now. There's no shortage. I can guarantee you there is no shortage of drivers. There's no shortage of trucks. No one has quit. My guys, me, we see the same companies, the same drivers every day at the ports. But that's the issue right now. The media's trying to blow it up like okay, we need self-driving trucks. It's a
Well,
lot.
okay, let's talk about that real quick, Vic. So, okay, so you and I both know that all these dang companies are fully funded by these overseas companies, right? For self-driving trucks. You know, Too Simple, Aurora. I mean, you could go down the list of these companies, and if you look at the names of people that are heavy investors, most of them are in China. Now, do you think, could this be a theory that they're holding stuff back there to making it look like we have a shortage here so that they could push their narrative that we need more trucks? And since we can't get drivers, they should push this new self-driving truck software.
Yeah, I'm 100% with agreement with that. I mean, I see no reason why they're pushing this stuff just to make us drivers look like we can do the job that a computer can do. But yeah, I am behind that 100%.
I'll tell you, man. You know, we're here with Vic Med, people. Subscribe to him on YouTube. You know, if you guys want real trucking and real truth, man, from the people that are doing themselves, don't just go out here looking at social medias, websites. As soon as I saw that CBS thing, I knew it was bogus, but I had to give you a call right away. So, you know, this from a man that's been doing this a lot of years. He has a fleet of trucks, and he's in the ports every day. And this is what's going on. So I appreciate you, brother.
No problem. Appreciate you.